Hi guys, welcome to another very wonderful tutorial. I thought of saying exciting, but I know that only Andrew Kramer can give exciting tutorial. He is an awesome man. I learned After Effects from him. So, that makes Andrew as my teacher. And I'm his student, right? Awesome. Okay, let's take a look at what we're gonna be creating today. Technically this is the second part of my previous tutorial. So if you are here without watching the first part, I recommend you to watch that first. Because I covered some basic stuffs in there. So this tutorial will be little advanced. Let's watch it again. If you look close into the scene, you can find lot of things going on. Leaves drifting on the ground. And the nice depth of field. And leaves falling from the tree. It all looks realistic and dynamic. This scene is created inside Element 3D. But the trees are modeled in Maya. And the animations are Maya and cloth simulations. I exported the simulations as OBJ sequence. And imported inside Element 3D. This tutorial only covers how to create the scene using these trees. Before start, I wanna show you something about these models. Awesome. To get their model pack, click the link in the description. If you have the Fiverr account, just log in and order. Otherwise use your Facebook ID or Google ID to join and order the pack. You will be asked to submit a requirement file at the end. Just submit any document file to continue. And you will get the download link within minutes. I hope you guys will like the models pack. Okay, let's get started. Create a new comp. Let it be HD comp. 25 frames per second, and 10 seconds long. Now create a HD layer. Select the layer. And add the element on the layer. Click on the scene setup. Now create a plane, and scale it up. This plane is going to be our ground. Let's fill this plane. Import the grass model. Change the pivot point to bottom. And click OK. Turn on the normalize size. We are going to fill the ground by this grass. For duplicate the model, press Alt and move the model. Rotate the model. So it will not look like repeated. I'm just gonna fill the ground, watch it. I like to make a path in between the forest. So place the grass accordingly. Select 3 models and duplicate it. In this way you can achieve it quick. Don't forget to rotate it. Don't place the grass on the path. Okay, it's done. Now we got a path in between. It looks good. Turn on the drawback faces. Always turn on this option. Let's texture the ground. Select the object and go to Preset tab. Video Copilot Pro Shaders Pack. This Pro Shaders have nice textures. You can get it from videocopilot.net. You can find what works for you. Okay, it's good. Turn on the drawback faces. Since we are creating a large environment, repeat the UV texture. Click OK. Now we got the grass and ground. Let's import the tree OBJ sequence. Click on File. Import. 3D sequence. This is just like PNG sequence or any other sequence formats. Select the first file, and click Open. Change the pivot point to bottom. And click on Normalize Size. OK. Now texture the tree. You can use any wood texture, if your texture is stretched out. You can fix it by increasing the UV repeat. If your tree looks glossy, decrease the glossiness. I told you that this tree is animated, right? To check this, select the model. And in the Baked Animation tab, you can set the start animation frame. We can come to this part later. Turn on drawback faces. Now let's texture the leaf. Use white plastic on the leaf material. And click on the diffuse to set your texture. Your leaf texture should be in PNG format. Increase the alpha threshold to get rid of alpha. And always turn on the drawback faces. And never forget to reduce the glossiness. If you're not able to follow the tutorial, please go to the first part of this tutorial to learn the basics. We are going to create a forest, but don't create a big environment without testing the scene on the camera view. And saving the file. Because sometime your system may crash. So click OK. Now create a camera to check the view. Select the 28mm lens. And click OK. Use the camera tool to set your frame. Path looks good and grass is also nice. But you can see that our ground is small. We need to extend the edges of the ground. Let's go back to the element 3D and fix it. Now select the ground model. And scale only the side edges. Fill the extended ground with the grass. As I said earlier, select 3 or 4 grass models and duplicate the models to fill the ground quick. And don't forget to rotate the model. Now it's done. We are going to create a forest, so we cannot texture all the trees like we did now. So select the textured tree model and select the leaf material and right-click on it. And click on the Save as Material preset, give a name and click OK. Now click on the Presets tab to see your preset materials. I have already created some preset materials for leaf and branches. Now let's import another tree OBJ sequence. Always change the pivot to bottom. Click on the Normalize Size. Drag the tree to the place wherever you want. Use the materials from the Preset tab to texture the tree. Just drag it on the model directly. If you don't like the textures, you can always change it. Before fill the ground with the trees, I just want to show you something. So click OK. Let's quick RAM preview. Tree animation is good, isn't it? Let's take a closer look. First tree is good. But the second one is kinda dancing. I don't know, this is a glitch or it is only happening in CC17. But, if you encounter this issue, please follow me. So, reason for this issue is moving the tree. Yes, you should not move the tree model. You can ask me that without moving the tree, how can I create a forest? Then my answer would be moving the tree without moving the tree. Let me show you how to do it. First zeroed the position value of the model. Now it's back to the original position. To move the tree, we need to put the tree model inside the group folder. Just select the model and drag it into the new group folder icon. Now you can move the folder to move the tree. This way you can move the tree without changing the values in the position of the tree model. Congrats, you learned how to move the tree without moving the tree in just 1 minute, but it took me half a day to solve this issue. So if you think I deserve a subscribe, do it now. Just kidding. I mean, if you want to do it now, you can. Otherwise do it at the end. Okay, back to the business. Now you can reposition the trees. Be careful at not moving the model but moving the folder. You need to create separate group folder for each tree OBJ sequence you import. Then only you can move the model. Okay, let's import another tree. The group you create for a tree should not be inside another group folder. It should be under the main group folder. If you move the model accidentally, you can zero the values anytime you want. Use the preset materials to texture the tree. If the tree looks small, scale it up. Also rotate it to get the desired look. To duplicate the tree, select the particular group folder, and press Alt key and move the model. You can rotate it to achieve the variation, and change the leaf texture. Again duplicate it and repeat the same process, but move the model carefully. When you duplicate a model, make sure you selected a group folder. We need to fill this full area with the trees. So let's import another tree OBJ sequence. Before you import the model, make sure you select the main group folder, so that the tree will come under the main group folder automatically. When you import the model, create a group folder. You can place the trees anywhere you want. Your motto is to create a forest using the same 3-4 trees, but it should not look like trees are repeating. To achieve the variation, you can change the texture of the leaf and branches, color of the leaf. You can scale and rotate the tree. You can also use some other elements like rocks. Place it inside the forest. Also make one more copy and make it small. We have added enough animated trees. So let's import some still trees. We can place it at the background, duplicate and fill the ground. For still trees we don't have to create the group folder. Group folder is only for the OBJ sequences. So you can just move the model itself to place it. But changing the pivot point to bottom and normalize size is must. Since we have preset for texture, we don't have to turn on drawback faces every time. I think we have created a decent looking forest. Let's check how does it look in the camera view. Don't forget to save the project. Use the camera tool to move around the scene. Not bad. It's good. We need to add some more trees at the back. Go back to Element 3D. Let's import one more still tree. If you are making a big environment, then you can add more trees and elements. Changing the color of the leaf gives real look to the scene, but don't mix more colors. Yellow and green should be good. When you feel it's done, click OK. I'm gonna click OK. Now it looks like we have filled the ground with trees. But the trees at the back have same texture. Let's change the color. Select the model and select the branch material. And go to the basic settings and click on the diffuse color to change the color. Make it little bit darker. And always reduce the glossiness. Click OK. Now it looks good. Let's quick RAM preview the scene. I want the leaves to fall on the ground, not falling through the ground. And it's not visible too. Let's fix this. Click on the scene setup. Let's move that tree to the front. Select the particular group folder and move it to the front. And move the tree in the front to the back. Remember, you should not move the tree model. Let's fix the leaves. We need the leaves to stay on the ground. Select the model and just increase the starting frame. You can see that tree is moving and leaves are falling. So move the tree up a bit. Increase the starting frame until the leaves reaches the resting position. When it reaches the resting position, make small adjustments in Y-axis to make the leaves to stay on the ground. Okay, it's done. Let's import the leaves OBJ sequence. Before import an OBJ sequence, select the main group folder. Import 3D sequence. Change the pivot to bottom. Once it's imported, create the separate group folder to move the model. Don't forget the normalize size too. Use the preset leaf texture on the model. Place it just above the ground. Select the group folder and move it to the front. Let's import the still leaves model. Import 3D object. And just select the first model from the sequence. We are not importing the OBJ sequence. You can ask why the still leaves. It's because moving all the leaves in the ground will not look natural. So we need to make some leaves stick to the ground always. If you don't believe me, go to your street and check how nature works. Duplicate the leaves and randomly place it on the path. You can rotate and scale. Don't scale it too much. Let's import in another leaves OBJ sequence. Always do what you have to do when you are importing the OBJ sequence. Move the model by selecting the group folder. Check the animation by increasing the starting frame. And decide where it should be placed. Don't forget to place it just above the ground. Let's import in another leaves OBJ sequence. We have imported more objects, isn't it? Don't get tired for importing and placing the models. More the models, better the look. But if your system is not cooperating, you don't have to import more models. Better you can try a smaller environment. I think we have imported enough models, so I'm not gonna import any more. So this leaves model is different from other models. Let me show it clearly. This model is not drifting on the ground, it's like leaves are falling from the trees. So you have to merge this model with the other trees, so this would create illusion that the leaves are falling from the trees. But you have to place it at the correct position. The falling leaves should not go through the ground plane. So you have to find that correct position where the leaves stay just above the ground. You can find the correct position by selecting the model and increasing the starting frame. Once it's done, click OK. Let's quick RAM preview. Yeah, this is good. Leaves are perfect. Oops, I think there is some problem in start frame. Actually, I did not make a looping animation. So once it's hit the end frame, it's gonna start it from the first frame again. But it should not be a problem for 6 seconds long animation. Let's fix it. For the OBJ sequence, the start frame should be 1. You can adjust this for placing the model. But at the end change it to 1. This way we won't face this problem. I made up to 300 frames, so it should not be a problem for animation smaller than 10 seconds. Okay, let's make some camera animation. Delete this camera and create a new one. Create a null layer and make it a 3D layer. And parent the camera to the null layer. Now move the null layer to move the camera and get the desired starting frame for your animation. Keyframe the start frame. Our animation is going to be 6 seconds long. Drag the null layer to set the end frame. This is good. But I need the leaves close to the camera, so that we can have good depth of field. So select both the keyframe and push it in Z-axis. Move it until the leaves get close to the camera. Once you are done, come to the starting frame. This frame is also good. But I don't like this tree. Let's change it. Select the group layer of that tree and move it back. And select some other tree and duplicate it. And move it to the front. And place the way you want it, so that the scene would look good. Once you are done, click OK. Now adjust the starting frame. Let's have a quick RAM preview. This is nice. The leaves falling on the ground is perfect. Now we're gonna add background to the scene. I have already imported an image for the background. You can use any image you want. Drag the image to the background. Idea is matching the path in our scene with the path in the image. First change the image to the 3D layer. Now the image is in the 3D space. We have to place it at the end of the ground plane. But we don't know the exact position of that point. To find the position element 3D, have an option. Just select the element layer. And go under the Utilities tab, Generate 3D Position. Now you can select the 2D position in the ground. And click on the Generate, which will create a 3D null layer at the exact position. Now you can copy the position of the null layer and paste on the position of the background image. Little bit, push it in the Z-axis and move it up. And match the path. Don't have to be perfect, but try to get the look. Draw a path around the layer, so that we can cut out the hard edges. And feather it. Now, I'm gonna place a tree near the path at the end, so that we can get this look. I like the silhouette effect. So, get inside element 3D. So go to the back side of the environment and move the tree. Make it kind of blocking the path. I like this way. If you don't, you can do as you wish. I'm gonna bring one more image inside the scene. Make it a 3D layer. Drag this layer to the background. Now copy the position of the other image. And paste it on this image. Now move it to the side and scale it. Fill the background with this layer. But don't make it too big. Because it's in the background. So the leaves and branches should be smaller in size compared to the size of the front trees. Now duplicate the image by clicking Ctrl D. And move it to the other side. And fill the background by adjusting the position and scale. The hard edges of the image should not be visible. Once you have finished the background works, you can move to the color grading stuffs. Before that, turn on the ambient occlusion option. Change it to ray trace. This is so much black. You can see the black aura around all the leaves. Like Black Goku do. So I don't like it. This must be because of the PNG format we used. I couldn't do anything about this. So I hope the next version of Element 3D will have the fix for this issue. Now we change the ambient occlusion to SSAO. Guys. For some reasons my cursor is not moving, but you can follow along. In SSAO mode we are missing the look that we get when we use the ray trace. To match that look, increase the intensity. Not bad, but still not enough. Scroll down and enable the fog. Now adjust the fog start distance and fog opacity to get the darker look. Don't copy my values, you won't get same result as mine. Darken the end part. Because we need the silhouette look. Once you are done, select the background image and match the color. Decrease the brightness. Decrease the saturation and lightness. Copy both the attributes and select the other two image and paste it. If you are not satisfied, play with the brightness and lightness controls to match the color. Once you are done, select the center image and duplicate it. Now solo the duplicated image and decrease the lightness. If your image is already darker, leave it. And adjust the mask shape. Now unsolo the layer and adjust the mask shape to match the ground. Turn of the other copy of this image. I'm gonna decrease the lightness little more. We need only the middle part of the center image to be brighter. Now turn on the other copy of this image. And delete the existing mask. And draw a new mask around the middle part. Feather the mask. Double-click on the mask and make it smaller, so that it covers only the middle part. Okay, now let's have a quick ramp preview. It's nice. And we are very close to the final result. Everything is perfect but the background is brighter. So decrease the lightness for both the side images. Center image is perfect. Now it's good. Let's move to the depth of field, select camera and click AA. And turn on the DOF. Adjust the focus distance to focus the particular area in the scene. To do this accurately, select the element layer and go to DOF option, and change the DOF mode to focus indicator. Now you can easily set your focus distance. If you need, you can animate the focus distance. Once you set the focus distance, change the DOF mode to pixel blur again. Now you can see we have the blur on the front leaves. Don't make the scene too blurry. Reduce the aperture and blur amount to reduce the blur. I like to keep the aperture at 14 all the time. If you are not satisfied, you can adjust the blur amount and try to make your scene look more good. Our background images are not blurred enough. So select the image and use Gaussian blur. Increase the blur amount to 5. And copy the effect. And paste it on other background images also. I'm gonna increase the blur amount to 6. Now you can see we have achieved good depth of field. Let's move to the lighting part. Click on Ctrl-Alt-Shift-L to create the light, spotlight. And make sure the cast's shadow is turned on. Now you can use your light to light your scene. Move the light and get the spot wherever you want it. To get the shadows, select the element layer and go to Shadows option. And enable it. Now you can see we got the shadows on the ground. You can change the spotlight to point light. And get the different lighting. Point light emit the light in all directions. So I like to move it to the center. You keep it any way you want. You can change the color of the light. Blue, yellow or anything. But I'm gonna leave it to white. Play with the color and position of the light. Let's quick ramp preview. It's nice. Let's create an adjustment layer by clicking Ctrl-Alt-Y. Use the curve effect to change the color. Adjust red, green, blue to get the cool or warm color. I like to keep it cool. It's nice. The center part is bright, but add little color to it. Select the center image and use color balance on it. I'm gonna give greenish blue look because I made the whole scene blue. If you're not satisfied, you can adjust the color of the light. Or add one more light. Don't copy what I do. I'm gonna add color balance on the adjustment layer. To change the feel of the whole scene. If you're going to add two lights, you can change the color of one light to different from the other light. This way you can mix the two colors and get different look. We don't need the reflection on the ground. Get inside element and select the ground plane and reduce the glossiness. Click OK. Let's quick RAM preview. It's awesome. All the animations are good. To get better look, you can add the sun using optical flare, and using particular you can create the fog. Hope this is the first time you are watching the Element 3D tutorial using animated trees. I'm planning on making more advanced tutorials. If you like the advanced tutorials, subscribe the channel. If you are an Instagram user, you can follow me on Instagram. I have posted even more cool animations in Insta, and also you can ask your questions. By the way, don't forget to order the models pack. Thanks for watching the tutorial.